A concept is a formulation of some kind from, a formulation with, a formulation in, a formulation. Well, it'd be something like showing somebody a picture of somebody you love. They only see the picture, but you have the picture and your sense of that person. And there's no way you're going to have the picture without your sense of that person. But you can think in that fashion. And I'm doing it right now because I'm describing that very linkage there. And I'm describing it very simply. When it gets complicated, I would say I need to explain a few characteristics of such a concept. Such a concept is never just the cognitive part. It's always also the movement that it represents to the concept and the further that it implies. Now implies, okay, implicit and implies.
Yeah.
You say something to somebody, you make a point, you say something exciting, okay. If they understand it, if you can see on their face and body that, oh yeah, they see what's exciting, they have grasped not only what you said, but that whole thing. Now my phrase, that whole thing, refers to the implicit. That whole thing, that whole concept, that situation, why you're excited about it, the import of it, what it means to you. And they won't know all of that to be able to say, but they can sense it. They sense why you're excited about it. And you can sense that they sensed it. And so you feel like, oh, that was good to tell you. You could use the very same words with another person, and they would say, oh, that's nice, or something. And you could see that they only received a very small verbal part. Okay?
Yeah, so in common language, when we say, oh, he really gets it,
Yeah.
we mean this larger thing, this more that the
Yes.
person gets.
Yes.
That's carried.
It has a
implicit
further, it has
with
an
it.
edge that goes out, and then if you were to say, can you put that into words? Probably not very, very easily. And you can't put all of that ever into words. But now let me make a jump to philosophy. Having said that, where I'm coming out is the structure of a concept. Whether you're talking about a rock or an electron or a piece of furniture, or whether you're talking about a person or a feeling or a society. You see, philosophy is very peculiar because it isn't about anything. It's about how to think about anything. So I could rattle off this list, and you don't need to look at the list because I won't mean anything, whatever. The concepts that we have are just is concepts. And what we need are concepts that have an is, whatever is, but also have the implying of more, of further, which we can call process, or I call it process, but that can mean other things to people. There is always an implying further in life. Anything living has its own further implying, its own further pushing, its own further needing, its own further creating, its own further edge, its own further, and you see what happens. You can use all these different words, none of which are quite right, and all of which can say this once you have the implicit meaning of it.
Right, this more.
Right, right. So a concept that is also a forward, also a further, is a different kind of concept than the ones where you have the is and then you want to change it, so you call it change, and then you have a different is. These are all concepts that, so how to understand the human being, and not only a human being, anything, has always this further implicit living activity of the next thing that would come if it came.
So everything in that way has the implying
Yes.
with it.
Yes.
That it has a something
Yes.
that it's going toward.
Yes. Yes. So if you have, for example, you have a client and you have figured something out about the client, but you also know that how it is it doesn't have to be a client, but we're talking therapy.
Yes, we're therapists.
Right? It could be anybody. The other person, as that thing that you're saying, oh, there he goes again being like that, And that's not false, but you have to know that in that person, it has, first of all, a whole implicit texture, which you can never completely know. And then that texture has possibilities of furtherness, which you can't know. And in doing therapy, we depend on that. If therapy,
we depend on the not knowing.
No, on that which we don't know, because we depend upon that there's more there than we've so far had. Otherwise, we would give up, because it's sort of like a budget. If you list all the income and all your expenses, you never come out well, because there are other possible ways of doing everything from one day to the next. If we really only had what has already been understood, very often it would be hopeless. We depend upon the fact that there's more there, and that what is there has more further possibilities than what we so far know. And so if we respond to that, if we either say that back or respond humanly to it or something in such a way that the person can be in touch with the implicit movement that's there, that's when there's hope.
Right. So the person isn't simply a something, whatever
exactly,
the something would
exactly.
Be,
Thank you.
A something like a borderline or a whatever.
Anything.
The person is
any kind of is.
Any kind of
right.
is. An artist or anything.
That's right.
The
That's
person
right. The
is
person
also a movement.
Right.
And the movement hasn't happened
yes.
yet. So that
yes.
sense of the movement.
The next movement always hasn't happened yet.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes.